welcome to the final Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge Season 38, and we're having a comment palooza from comments from my Thursday's review and recap on the reunion part 2. I got a good amount of comments to go over, so let's not waste any time jumping into the first comment. And the first comment comes from Haunted Pearl, who says Turbo's video was hysterical. Very entertaining. I like that we started the reunion part 2 with this video. Like I said, some people can find it cringe that it felt rehearsed a little bit, but I just thought that Turbo's video was really good, calling out everybody, yet in a very entertaining way, especially with how it was edited. So I really did like Turbo's video. Cobra Kai Owner comes in with a comment saying, I cringed when Nani said that she's the reason why Turbo is a champion, yet she couldn't make herself a champion. I think it's time for her to go try All-Stars instead. Yeah, when she said, oh, but I'm the reason why he got that $750,000, let's just be real. You did help him out for half of the season, helping him find his footing as you were partners with him, and then the season turned to solo, where Turbo was one of the main reasons why you were eliminated in the first place, and then he had to leg it out the rest of the way, and then have to go through the hardest final in challenge history. At least that's what a lot of people consider, that season 33's final was the hardest final in challenge history, and he had to do it alone. I think it's more of an assist rather than you're the main reason why he won it. Troutman84 comes in with a comment saying, not gonna lie, I hit the fast forward button during the Tori Jordan stuff. I don't blame you, because when watching the reunion, I just was like, wow, that Turbo video was pretty good. The Mariah stuff was good. And then we jump into the Tori and Jordan stuff, and I just found it was just really slowing down. We hit the brakes on the reunion when it got to the Tori and Jordan stuff. Like, didn't we just go through all of this at one point? Please, no more. I mean, honestly, I'm a little worried for the World Championships because both Tori and Jordan are on that season, and I don't think I can handle them being on screen going after each other again for like multiple episodes in a row. I want new drama. I want new storylines. George Cruz comes in with a comment saying Kenny didn't speak once. I think in the reunion part 2, less people spoke than in the reunion part 1. I mean, Darrell hardly spoke, Veronica didn't speak, Casey got cut off at one point, Kenny didn't speak. There was a lot of people just kind of like sitting there waiting to talk. Jack didn't speak, Raven didn't speak. There was a lot of people that just did not talk at all in this reunion part 2, but Kenny didn't speak in either the reunion part 2 or part 1. And honestly, he didn't really add too much to the season, so it makes a lot of sense when there wasn't a lot of questions asked to Kenny or comments made from Kenny. Joe Jackson comes in with a comment and a donation. Thank you so much for that donation, by the way. And Joe Jackson says, I'm concerned the show is turning into the good old boys club. This season was clearly more about alliances than competition. There was no incentive for teams to win dailies, which allowed people, Tori, Dev, and Bananas, to skate to the finals because of the house connections. This mentality led to watered down finals that wasn't competitive because the better teams were all gone. As someone who's watched this show for the last 22 years, I sincerely hope they switch up casting for future seasons to not allow this trend to remain. Good stuff as always, Angel. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for thinking that my videos are good work. I put a lot of effort into them. And thank you again for the donation. Thank you again for the appreciation that you have for the videos I make. And thank you for watching and enjoying. But I agree. I think that we've seen this trend for the past couple of seasons now, that it's all about alliances and it's the same people over and over again. I would love a good shakeup. Next season, let's really get some of the rookies from this past season on there. Let's cut out some of the vets that have been on the past like 3 or 4 seasons back to back to back to back to back. We can get a little bit more storylines, maybe a little bit more spice, more people that haven't been able to show their stuff because of the same old alliances, the Vacation Alliance, to just target them and get them out of the house sooner rather than later. I hope we get a shakeup. Dre B comes in with a comment saying, the editing of this reunion, like much of the season, seemed very off. The shot of Darrell crying seems like it was spliced from Amber's revelation and used to show reaction during Tori and Jordan's crap or Olivia's speech. I forget which one. I 100% agree with you. There was a point during the Tori and Jordan segment that I was kind of getting nauseous while watching it, not just because we were going over the Tori and Jordan drama again. No, I'm just kidding. But there was a point where it was like cutting in every second or every 2 seconds, and it was cutting to random people without really any reactions, or they weren't even in the conversation at all. Like, it was Tori, Jordan, Tori and Jordan. Then it's a close-up of Tori. Then it's a close-up of Jordan. Then it's to Casey, Darrell. And I just found it so spliced up. And then when trying to listen to the audio, I thought that was spliced up as well. So that's why they were cutting so much, was to take your mind off of listening to the audio where it was all kind of broken up and chunked up. They cut that segment up to hell. It was bad. Like, I think that also led to why I was thinking that the Tori and Jordan segment was one of the worst segments. One, we went over all of this stuff throughout the season and we were kind of tired of it, to then rehash it here, but also how they cut it up was just completely really bad. Lovable Nikki coming in with a comment saying, I'm here for the Aneesa drag from Drew. All true, all facts. I didn't even go into the video trying to like stir up these feelings about Aneesa. It just came out. It just flowed out because I was thinking, wow, those were really good points made by Mariah. And then hearing just Aneesa coming back being like, don't puff out your chest. You don't want this. That was just ridiculous when she brought up like, we were at a restaurant. You didn't say anything. Come on now. But really it comes down to own up to how you act, because I almost feel like she did know how she comes off to people, because the one thing that Mariah said was, you're very dismissive. And Aneesa's like, I'm nice to everybody. But then in the same sentence is saying, oh, but we're so different in age. What are we gonna talk about? What now? Just own up that maybe I don't want to talk to everybody all the time. Maybe I don't have anything to say to all these new players. Maybe I don't even want to get used to all these new players. I think we should move on to a comment from Gregory Washington, who also talks about Aneesa, saying Aneesa is annoying. She talks trash on all the competitors, and the fact that MTV gave her and Tori a podcast so they can talk trash on all these people while still casting them on the show is crazy to me. After having Devin and Davon man the helm, take on the hosting duties for the Challenge Official podcast for a stretch of time, I think really showed in comparison how professionals can do it, and almost how it's better not to have people who are actually playing the game be hosts of the podcast. I get it. Having players who actually play the seasons be hosts of the podcast can be beneficial, and like they have rapport with the players, they know what's going on, they have eyes on the scene, they're seeing the behind the scenes. Having people that aren't part of the actual cast or season can be beneficial in them asking better questions, asking spicier questions, and there isn't this animosity against one another when they come on to do the podcast and they're talking. They can just have a fun conversation, because I just think they do a much better job than, say, Tori and Aneesa, who aren't like, I don't know, come off a little bit better than everybody or knowing a lot more than everybody. I guess because of this season, they went to the finals together, so they could be like, oh, this is what happened. This is how we got so far, and we're talking about all the people that got eliminated. That's just my opinion. Let's go on to Alex G, who says, debatable, Mariah 2023 icon. I love that. I kind of want to put that on a t-shirt. Locke comes in with a comment saying, loved Amber and Tori opening up this episode. Part 2 of the reunion was just so much better than the first. Completely agree with this comment. I thought that reunion part 2 in some parts was spicier, a little bit beefier. I like the content in the beginning and at the end, and I do love that Amber and Tori opened up about their journeys, and I really appreciate that they were given a platform, and I think it's very important about what they talked about and the mental health journey and doing stuff for yourself and learning more about yourself. I just thought that that was really important. Rochelle comes in with a comment saying, so happy for Amber and Chauncey. They are going to be amazing parents. The haters better hurry up, cough, Aneesa, and the we think we better, but we can't win nothing gang. Better try and win while she's away. Also so proud of Amber for sharing her diagnosis. That takes a lot of strength and support, which I'm glad she has. I am glad that she has a lot of support, and even though I think of all the cast members season to season treating Amber so poorly, saying she's fake, saying she's a snake, wanting to throw her into elimination, being very cliquish with her and excluding her from things. I am glad that she did have that moment where people said that they weren't judging her, that they love her. But there is that thing in the back of my mind being like, yeah, but every single one of you talked smacked about her. You roasted her. You called her fake over and over and over again. You targeted her for what? For what? I think back to Devin's podcast interview with Bananas on his podcast, and he was going in on Amber, calling her fake over and over and over again because she gave compliments to people. And yeah, I get it. Devin is like, she gave me a specific compliment, and then she kind of gave a similar or the same compliment to Jay. And so ultimately, she's fake. But honestly, is giving multiple compliments to people a reason to go in on somebody? Thinking back to what Amber was saying on the reunion part 2, I think back to that podcast interview and go, man, that's her just coping and trying to get through a very difficult social situation that she is in. She's feeling uncomfortable. So here she is mirroring or masking, trying her best to get through this situation. And then here you have somebody who doesn't understand and just going in on this woman who is just trying to do her best. When you have so many other people who have done way worse things in the game than just giving out random compliments to people. Like, I get it, Devin. You probably didn't get a lot of compliments or don't get a lot of compliments. So take what you can get and just be happy with it, But over here, we got Fessel, who is doing all this stuff, actually backstabbing best friends, and he gets a pass off of everything. Because what? He's a big, strong dude that nobody wants to take on because they're threatened by him or they don't want to mess with him and go face him in a hall brawl. What's the deal? Fessel's over here doing whatever he's wanting to do, being narcissistic and actually not giving a crap about anybody during the game, but yet he's always got friends around him. Yet he's always got all this around him and nobody cares about what he does. Yet the target's always been on Amber. Everybody wants to get on Amber. For what? For what? Being too nice. I really am going to miss her being on my TV. But what I'm not going to miss, the mistreatment that she's been through and having that stress on her by playing these reality TV games, I'm not going to miss her having to deal with these people being fake to her and targeting her for being too nice and trying to cope in a very stressful situation. And it just infuriates me thinking about it. When you actually have people who lie, backstab, and cheat in this game, when Amber is just trying to do her best, just trying to do her best, not lying or cheating or backstabbing anybody in this moment. Ridiculous. Dimitri comes in with a comment saying, Amber and Chauncey are too pure for all of this. I just couldn't deal with Bananas trying to save face at the end there. Amber is stronger than every single person on that stage. Yes, and 100% yes. I don't think Bananas has targeted Amber or been mean to her. I actually thought that the podcast that her and Bananas did on Bananas' podcast was actually really, really good. It was a really, really good episode. He was very complimentary to Amber. It was a lot of the other people that were agreeing with Bananas in that moment where it's like, yeah, but you also jumped in and dogpiled on her on past seasons. So, I'm glad she has that support. I'm glad she had that moment with everybody, but it's hard to not think about all the past situations. Thunder Goddess says, as someone who is neurodivergent, also, I know it took so much energy to mask all around those people. Congratulations, Amber, my queen. Yes. Morning McFly comes in with a comment saying, I love how Drew was getting his own groove on when talking about the Magic Chauncey segment, LOL. I think Drew wanted to rip off his X-Men Storm shirt and start dancing like Chauncey, but held back a bit so this wouldn't be rated R content, LOL. I mean, I was getting into the groove. I've watched some Magic Mike movies and stuff, and I like getting into dancing, but this is neither here nor there. I'm not trying to get demonetized here on YouTube, but I mean, patreon.com/angelcakefits. No, I'm just kidding. There's none of that on there yet. No. Chris comes in with a comment saying, Love how giddy you were talking about how this is the final episode. Happy for you. Yes, it's almost there because we are at the final comment of the final Tiny Table Talk of the Challenge 38, the final episode of the Challenge 38. And that is with Oliver saying, here's to the World Championship and All-Stars for being good. Here, I can't wait for either of those shows. And luckily, we don't have to wait too long for one of them to start very, very soon. And that is the World Championship starting next week. March 8th, episodes 1 and 2 will be on Paramount Plus, as well as I read that MTV will be putting out the first episode on TV, and then the rest of the episodes will be on Paramount Plus only, but I cannot wait. Both casts for those seasons look incredible. I'm ready for the drama. I'm ready for the stiff competition in both of those seasons. I cannot wait. And I'm so happy to say that we have all made it through the Challenge 38. Everybody give yourself a round of applause. I'm so excited because this is the final send-off from this, because I'm not going to say that I have more content for the Challenge 38. That's just not going to happen because there is no more content after this. It is over. But before we can get any of that, I want to give a special shout out. Thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.